Wonderful morning, afternoon, good day. Uh, this is the best ICT Gold Traders channel, and I'm just gonna be doing a market review. This is the weekly chart. I have been following up with what's been happening on my channel, but this was our draw on liquidity since last week. I guess it's the last 2 weeks, and we hit that perfectly, as you can see. Now I'm gonna go down to the let me the reason why I'm like a bit down today is because price has been delivering beautifully, abundantly, according to my model, and you know, I'm just a bit embarrassed. No, actually I'm not embarrassed. I'm just a bit I don't wanna say in shock, but it's really hard to explain, but the market has just been teaching me that there's really, as much as I know about the market, knowledge is just nothing without discipline, you know. And the setups that I've been seeing this whole week have just been abundant to the point where I broke my rules, I overtraded, and I overtraded solely because of the purpose that because I was losing, I lost one trade, and after having a series of wins and then one small loss, and in a bit of lack of confidence, without lack of confidence and no restraint, you can name it. But big lesson is that discipline defeats everything. Discipline is everything in trading. Extreme discipline, and I just had to sit down. Luckily, because I was managing my risk, it didn't put me in any drawdown as far as my funded challenge. But for the week, I am down. But you know, we'll we'll bounce back definitely, without a doubt. But let me get back into the video. So this is the weekly wick CE. See how we delivered. Total soup with a new day opening gap. Now I'm gonna show you what happened for us to go lower. I think I did talk about this. So when a daily when a daily candle gets swept, and after a daily candle gets swept, that's a counter trend trade. That's a reversal trade. It's a total soup setup, and you target 50% of the range or the next low of that candle. In this case, we swept the high, and if we sweep the low, vice versa. Same thing happened here. Swept this low. All right. No, let me look at this. Swept this low, coupled with this fair value gap, and then 50%, which is somewhere here, then the high. So in this case, since we're bullish and this inversion fair value gap, see how the body stayed. Uh, we are gonna target 50% of the range. I'm gonna show you what 50% of that range. Uh, uh 4 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour chart. is this inefficiency right there. See that? Yeah, that's 50% of the range. Hit that, there's found support to go higher to this inefficiency right there. Now I'm gonna go down to the hourly chart. So these are wick CE, CB extended from the left. Let me show it to you. That was just above the wick CE. As you can see, that's a premium array. Now I'm gonna be more specific about the sessions and all. So as you can see, PM session traded to the CB, Asia traded down, institutional order flow entry drill, down, down. Bit of consolidation, that's your low hanging fruit, new week opening gap high, and then ultimately traded to 50% of the range, which is this BC right there. Respected 50%, consequent encouragement of the BC on higher 4H CB that I marked right there. 50%. So this is pretty much typical before non-farm payroll, but we have unemployment claims tomorrow. All right, this is very much typical, like price. This is definitely consolidation because obviously our next draw on liquidity from this BC is this new day opening gap low right there. And yeah, but obviously the low hanging fruit is this London high, New York session high. So I'm gonna go down to the 15-minute. Let me take this off since we're done with it. All right. So last time I was here, uh, changing state of delivery there, higher. Inversion fair value gap, higher. I'm not gonna mark out these things. And then there's our daily turtle soup. It happened here. We traded to this inefficiency. This is the close. And then we opened higher, traded to the inefficiency, went lower. And then there's our, oh, this is the 4 hour. Okay, so let me go down to the 5 minute. Wait, let me go to the hourly first. So these are institutional order flow entry drill. I'm gonna mark it out like this. And then I'll go down to the 5 minute. And I'm gonna show you all the business. See how we didn't have a change in state of the delivery here. Only this inversion, TB right there. But I trade auto block, so actually this is an auto block, but no, it's not clean. So what do? You can wait for like an institutional auto flow into drill breaker. This is not a break. Uh, we only trade breakers that are coupled with fair value gaps on gold. So we don't take this as a breaker. Then we go down. There's the low of this hourly inefficiency, of the inefficiency that's on the hourly. That's your institutional auto flow entry drill. Auto block, retracement, auto block, propulsion block, low hanging fruit right there. Beautiful price delivery. London consolidates a bit here. New York continues to the inefficiency and ultimately 50%. And then after you traded to the inefficiency, Jolt News pushed price down at 10. So what do we expect? We expect that the the lunch session is gonna be injected with liquidity because we had high impact news right before the close of that. I'm not gonna mark out the inefficiencies. Wait, actually, I know what the best thing to do is. After this, I'll go to my journal, my digital journal, and I'm gonna show you. So there you go. Auto block, entry, propulsion block, stop stays there. Price runs higher, trades down. Now, because you're holding during for Asia session and your target is because you're holding for Asia session, uh even in any other session, your stop should be like you can expect some form of manipulation before we reach our target. So your stop shouldn't be ultra tight. As for me, I'm gonna show you. I took this trade, entered on the auto block right there, another entry on the propulsion block, and then another entry as we traded down here, small position. One. Let me add the label. Three contracts here. Pyramid two. Added one more because I liked how we were staying in the lower in this inversion fair value gap. The bodies. Let me mark that out. The bodies were staying in the inversion fair value gap, so that was a signature that we're still in a buy program. So now the where I fumbled was this inefficiency right there. I put my stop there instead of putting my stop below here, below this propulsion block. And what happened? Got stopped out and price ran to my target. You can imagine how that feels when you wake up in the morning knowing that you held a trade and then you wake up to find out that you just got stopped out. Uh, it was my own human error. The market wasn't wrong. I've taken a setup like this before, and my stop was perfectly fine when I won the trade. And here, I just made a mistake of not of not placing my stop correctly. Another entry. See how we swept PM low, created a change in state of delivery, and we traded down to it again, and then price went higher. Why did it go blasting high? Because this is trendline liquidity. These are stops right there. So smart money took out all these stops and then it bought them. So there was enough liquidity to push us higher. That was good. So after trading to that inefficiency, uh, pretty much pretty much what sold off down. Uh, and now we're just pretty much consolidating. It's a very bad day to trade. Let me see the news. How the news are. This week has been mentally draining, man. I don't want to say mentally draining, but yeah, it all started off disoriented, but we're getting used to trading while schools are closed. Now I have the leverage of always being in front of my charts. That's a good and a bad thing. Mostly a bad thing. So I have to be more disciplined than I was before because my focus is entirely here on trading, and which is good because I can learn more about myself, which I have. So we had this, and then we have PMI. I hate PMI news unless it's a Friday, honestly. But I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt because we had non-farm employment change. But then again, this is completely normal. You know, like I said, see how many setups I called. How many setups I called. See here, we are trading to an hourly inefficiency, auto block, and then to the. That's how many setups. That's one here, this one, and then two to this inefficiency, and then three to this, and then ultimately this. Leave a runner for that, and then four. It's four setups. Five. It's five setups. So you can only imagine how it is being someone that understands these things and can anticipate these things happening, but doesn't have the enough discipline to manage his profits, manage his emotions, manage his risk, doesn't have the mental stamina to be watching price fluctuate. You know, that's just how it is for me, and I'm going to deal with it personally. I'm not gonna talk about it on screen. And let me just end this video. I just wanted to show you just how much progress I made technically. I'm able to read price to this level, but it doesn't mean anything. I'm telling you, it doesn't mean anything. It's actually self destructive if you do not have discipline. It doesn't mean anything. Knowledge is nothing without the power, without the discipline of knowing when to use it and when be to sit still. It's nothing at all. And then ultimately it just leads to, you know, you not being able to be grateful for what you have. But I am gonna pass this challenge this month. I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna show it. It's gonna happen. I know. That's without a doubt that this month the challenge is getting done and dusted. But it's not gonna be easy. But I know that it wasn't easy for me to read this market at first. I tried so many strategies at first, trend lines, Bollinger Bands, everything, until I came across ICT, and I became obsessed. And look where this obsession has led me, to be able to call price, see what happens. I don't need to journal technical stuff anymore. I don't. I just journal my personal feelings. There's another 15 minutes. I just journal my personal feelings, my emotions, because that's the part I'm left with. And after that, I'm definitely gonna be the best ever. All right. So let me go. Let me open my journal, my digital journal. Mm, 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 mm. All right. Wait. Bum bum bum. It's gonna be a long video, isn't it? uh, it's completely fine. mm, 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 mm. All right, let me just. So, this is my journal. These are notes that I took. So, see how we are staying. I wanted us to stay on the upper half of this inversion fair value gap. When I saw that on the during the night before the market closed, I was confident with holding the trade. Right. I want you to bear that in mind. Man, I don't know what this laptop. But all right, so 4 hour inefficiency traded to respected. Nice inversion right there. Also nice. And then 1H where I went long off. Nice. And then as you can see, those are my notes. You traded to this inversion fair value gap, auto block, propulsion block. Put my stop 50% below 50% of this BC got stopped out because I anticipated as being a breakaway gap. There's your ICT silver bullet. Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, silver bullets, you're not supposed to like hold for long. But then again, it should be like a reasonable target, yeah. But you're supposed to hold for like specific candles. I just remembered that. But I just outlined the silver bullets just to like look at, appreciate what's happening. And then we have a reclaimed fair value gap that's on the left right there. See how the body stayed within it. Then we traded to the inversion right there. Respected it. Didn't close below it. And then just ripped higher. I put my stop there. What I should, like I wrote notes, what I should have done was just put my stop below the first propulsion block. My model states that, but I don't know why I was extra confident and trying to be fancy last night, but it's completely fine. And then it's completely fine. I learned from it very, very much because you learn from the pain of failure. I personally, that's what happens. As you can see, entry, another entry right there, and then another entry there. Tiny little inversion fair value gap right there on the 5 minute, and everything delivered by like clockwork. All right, that's just it for today. Good luck, good trading. Have fun.